Here.
Nelson?
Here.
Cavell is not here yet. Gingell?
Here.
Kuhn?
Here.
Lubes?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first item is approval of the minutes dated August 9th. I have a motion by Commissioner Gingell, support from Commissioner McGilvery. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Next is approval of the agenda. I have a motion by Commissioner Nelson, support from Commissioner Hoffman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. We have arrived at our first public comment. This is for the public to comment on items on the agenda. Public comment is now open. Public comment is now closed. So we have communications. There are 4 items under communications. The first is an exception with the U.S. Department of Justice for the fiscal year 2022 Edward Byrne Justice Assistance Grant Program. The second is the exception with the U.S. Department of Justice for the fiscal year 2022 COPS Office Technology and Equipment Program. The third communication item is an exception with the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services for the fiscal year 2023 Raise the Age Program. And the last item is the exception with the Michigan Health Endowment Fund for Healthy Aging Program. I have a motion by Commissioner McGilvery, support from Commissioner Jackson. Communications, is that a voice vote?
You can do voice vote or I can talk.
All in favor of communications, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, communications is approved. We move on to our regular agenda item. The first item is the fiscal year 2022 Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives overtime reimbursement. I have a motion by Commissioner Gingell, support from Commissioner Hoffman. And we have our Sheriff's Department here to address this. Welcome, Under Sheriff Micaiah.
Good morning.
Okay, so this is our annual overtime reimbursement. They give us a cap amount for the people that we have in the program. This year, the cap is $19,372. And we're actually doing, the next item is related. We're doing this current fiscal year, and then they gave us back-to-back agreements, so we're doing next fiscal year as well, so.
Thank you. Any questions on this item? All right, prompt the vote, please.
Nelson?
I don't have a prompt the vote on mine.
Okay, we have 8 yeas, or Lubes.
Yes.
8 yeas, 0 nays.
All right, the motion is carried. Thank you. Our second item, also related, grant acceptance, fiscal year 2023, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives overtime reimbursement. I have a motion by Commissioner Gingell, support from Commissioner Hoffman. Anything else you'd like to add about this item?
This is for next fiscal year for 2023, so same cap amount and same agreement.
Thank you. Commissioner Cavell?
Hi. The rate isn't going up. Like the reimbursement. Did I read that right? So it's still the same?
Yeah, the cap, they gave us, the memo that's included with that, they give us a cap amount, so then obviously our hours, depending on the hourly rate of the person that's doing it, so the hours fluctuate by year, but their cap amount stays the same, so we just track it and submit it for reimbursement.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Anything else? All right, prompt the vote, please.
Okay, let me get this done. I'm getting there.
You're feeling pressure, like.
No, still no, okay. Lubes,
Yes.
we have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion carries. Our next item from the Sheriff's Department is the contract for transfer of ownership and release of claims agreement for Canine Dog Diego. I have a motion by Commissioner McGilvery, support from Commissioner Nelson.
So Canine Diego is actually 10 years old, so on average, they work to about 8. So we've gotten a couple extra years out of him, and he's going into a well-deserved retirement.
Is 8 years an average age for the dogs to retire?
It's usually in some of them, they start to have health issues or whatever, but he's done, he's added an extra couple years.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? All right, prompt the vote, please.
We have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much.
Our next item is from Health and Human Services, Health Division. Grant acceptance from the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy for the fiscal year 2022. Eagle LHD Grant Agreement Medical Waste Regulatory Program. I have a motion by Commissioner Nelson, support from Commissioner Cavell, and we have Leanne Stafford here to talk about this item. Welcome. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. So this is a grant that we receive every year. We assist Eagle in maintaining the inventory of their medical waste areas or their facilities. And so they request we go out and look for, we might do a follow-up inspection once maybe they've gone out. Eagle does the licensing and all the enforcement activities. We just assist them with inspections and inventory. If something closes, we notify them, or if they get some kind of complaint, we would maybe go and do an investigation. So this $25,000 is to help fund one. It's really not even a half position. This person really just does it. This is about a fourth of their time that they go out and provide these inspections for Eagle.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? All right, prompt the vote, please. Everyone is so accommodating this morning. I love it.
They're all gonna cost me dinner.
Yes.
Penny and I have a bet if we get done by a certain time, I'm buying her dinner at Clausen Steakhouse, and she might have set me up.
Uh-oh.
She did.
You have 8 yeas.
Wait a
All
minute.
right, motion carries.
We said breakfast.
Breakfast
Double dipping?
and dinner. I am good to go.
And if Angel starts asking questions, we know why.
Oh, I got a million questions on the next one.
All right, our next item is also from Health and Human Services, a grant amendment to the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality Beach contract for the QPCR Methods for Oakland County Beaches project. I have a motion by Commissioner McGilvery, support from Commissioner Hoffman. All right, Leanne, what do you want to say about this?
Yeah, so this is kind of a continuation grant that we get through Eagle. Again, this is an amendment. And actually, this is for next fiscal year, which is great because that means we'll be able to continue doing and actually have the next item too that really talks about our beach sampling as well as the laboratory analysis that we do. This allows us to kind of go a step further and indicate for us, is it human waste? Is it animal waste? So we are actually working with the state of Michigan, actually EPA, to create new standards for beach sampling. And so it would be more of a real-time turnaround. And so they're trying to really develop this standard to move forward, and we're part of that. So Oakland County, we do the COLI alert, which is the one you see that might close a beach. But then again, this grant allows us to go an extra step further to determine what kind of waste it is. So really helping with that and have been over the last few years.
Thank you. Questions? Prompt the vote, please.
You have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Our next item also looks related from the Health Division grant amendment to the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy 2019 Beach Monitoring Program. I have a motion by Commissioner Cavell, support from Commissioner Ginjo. Anything to add about this item?
No, this actually just allows us to, help with staffing to go out and actually do the sampling at the beaches. So again, this is for next fiscal year. So we'll be able to continue that program.
Thank you. Comments or questions? Prompt the vote, please. Excuse me.
You have 8 yeas, 0 nays?
Motion carries. All right, our second to last item is from Public Services Children's Village Interlocal Agreement for the Department of Health and Human Services Shelter Foster Care Contract, Amendment 2. I have a motion from Commissioner McGilvery, support from Commissioner Nelson, and we have staff from Children's Village, correct?
Yes, good morning. I'm Heather. I am the manager of Children's Village, and I also have Lori Strong here today to help present. Thank you for having us. So I'm here today to present the Children's Village Shelter Care Interlocal Contract with DHHS. So the Department of Health and Human Services requires that we have a contract to provide shelter care services to our abused and neglected youth. We've actually had a contract with DHHS since 2016, and so this contract amendment will extend the contract from 10/1/22 to 9/30 of 23. Notable changes would include an per diem increase. So previously the shelter care per diem was $359.13, and we are getting an increase to $789.40. That is per youth per day. There is also a change in our waking ratio, meaning the hours that the kids are awake. It was previously 1 staff to 4 kids, and now it is going to be 1 staff to 2 kids. And then the last change is to our contract capacity, which was previously 18, but based on the high level of need of our kids, that is actually going to be reduced to 10.
Thank you. Is this item related to Mandy's Place or to Children's
Yes.
Village as an entirety?
It is only related to Mandy's Place. Mandy's Place, because we house DHHS abuse and neglect wards, it is the only program on campus that requires a contract with the state of Michigan. So it only applies to Mandy's Place.
Thank you. Any other Commissioner Cavell?
Yeah, the $1 million increase, and forgive me, I was trying to do some double duty here. The $1 million increase, can you explain a little bit what that's going towards and where that originates?
It's because the contract is being extended for a year, so that dollar amount just covers the 1-year extension.
Oh, okay. So the contract is then, it was a 6-year contract, now going into its 7th year? Because it's going from $6 to $7 million?
Because, yes, so Lori, I'll let Lori explain. She's a little more, a little better with the technical details of the contract.
This contract started in fiscal year 16. That was a single year contract. We had a single year contract also in front of the board, fiscal year 17. The contract that's before you today started in fiscal year 18, and it was signed through fiscal year 21 also. That went through the board. There was an extension in 22 that was also signed by the chairman. So although we've had this ongoing contract back to 2016, the contract in front of you is from fiscal year 2018, which was 21. That was a 3-year. We did a 1-year extension. This will be the last year that this is extended of a 5-year contract. So this will go through fiscal year 2023. And so the $1 million is only for services. There's no promise of the $1 million. That's actually for services rendered. So that would be the cap that we could have through the current fiscal year we're asking for through 2023, which is reflective. If you look at the aggregate total of this particular contract, that's similar to the prior fiscal years.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Jackson?
Thank you. Could you explain how the per diem rate increase is justified? Because it's almost doubled.
No, absolutely, and this is actually a very good thing. So shelter care in Michigan is viewed as a last resort, meaning our young people don't come to Mandy's Place unless all other options have been explored. They're unable to find a foster home placement or maybe a residential or mental health placement. So oftentimes the level of need, the level of trauma is very high. Previously, we were able to maintain a safe environment with one employee and 4 youth. However, what we found is as time has kind of gone on, what we were doing on our own is we were kind of adjusting the staffing ratio to maintain safety. Some of our kids require a one-on-one staff. Many of our kids were 1 to 2. And so we were actually working with the state to say we need to change our ratio to maintain safety and meet these kids' needs. But to do that, the per diem has to reflect that. So we're essentially providing twice as many staff, which then is accounted for in the rate increase.
All right, that explains it. Thank you.
Good question.
Anything else? Roll call, please. Prompt the vote.
You have 8 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks for your work. Our last item is a resolution appropriating American Rescue Plan Act local fiscal recovery funds to support Oakland Together senior initiatives. I have a motion by Commissioner Nelson, support from Commissioner Cavell. Commissioner Nelson, is there anything you'd like to add about this?
Absolutely, thank you,
Although
Madam
I
Chair.
am surprised that this hasn't been on here before, because we've spent so much time and still continue to have our biweekly meetings about this item.
Absolutely, Madam Chair, I couldn't agree more. But I'm really happy and thankful that here we are today. And as you kind of said, this has been probably a good year in the making. And just as a little background reminder, at the tail end of 2020, this board approved the blueprint for healthy aging and successful aging here in Oakland County. And as a result of the blueprint, we formed study groups. And so really, what I really want to emphasize is the information that I'm getting ready to share that's detailed within this resolution is a result of a thorough process of collaboration of commissioners, county administration, and a plethora of community stakeholders that have been active and participating in the study groups that we have established. And just as a reminder, I feel like sometimes we've talked a lot about the study groups, but just to kind of bring everybody up to speed, we had 3 main study groups as a result of the blueprint. And the first study group was the quality of life. Second was housing and volunteer. And the third one was looking at basic needs. And as I said, I'm really happy to say that through the work and the collaboration within the study groups, as well as the members of the Healthy Aging Ad Hoc Committee, I know Commissioner Lubes, McGilvery, and myself, as well as Commissioner Colwell and Commissioner Moss, are members of the Healthy Aging Ad Hoc Committee, have also greatly contributed to the information that is entailed in this resolution. So essentially, this resolution is requesting a little over $6.5 million of American Rescue Plan funding to support Oakland County's senior initiatives. And the initiatives that have been identified via these study groups are the development of a 3-year pilot program that provides assistance with minor home repairs and assistance with lawn care and snow removal for older adults. The second is Oakland County Senior Center grant opportunities. We've talked a lot over the course of the past now couple years in regards to making sure that our senior centers across Oakland County have the resources that they need in order to provide programming for older adults across Oakland County. The third is educational and communication mail. The one thing that we've heard throughout the past couple years, and I know Commissioner Lubes, you were an active participant in the social isolation task force that we had last term, is that seniors like their snail mail. We all know that there's a great technology divide between older adults. And so we wanted to make sure that the resources that we not only have available here at the county, but also across the county within our senior centers and other organizations are available for seniors. And as I said, the one thing we heard loud and proud during our social isolation task force is that seniors would like snail mail delivered to their door. There's something to be said to be able to place a resource on your refrigerator still. And then the fourth is looking at mini grants for volunteerism. And essentially, one of the things that really focused within the area of looking at how we increase volunteerism across the county was in many of the conversations that we had, we wanted to make sure that this was opened up for nonprofits and organizations across Oakland County to provide different opportunities for mini grants that help each of those nonprofits increase opportunities to get more volunteers to help out and provide assistance throughout Oakland County, whether that's our senior centers or, like I said, nonprofits. And then the fifth and final one was helping reinstate the Oakland County Elderly Abuse Prevention Coalition. That has also been an area that many of us have had a plethora of conversations over the past couple of years, and I'm really happy to say that this will assist greatly in providing some seed money to reinstate the Elder Abuse Prevention Coalition. I'd be happy to answer additional questions.
But one of the items that came out of this meeting was actually Commissioner McGilvery's idea in a senior department under Oakland County. I know everything's a compromise, so we'll be moving forward with this one-person senior advocate department in Oakland County, but I still would like to see that expanded a great deal.
Agreed.
Commissioner Gingell?
So just a question on that is, will that be through the administration then? So will it be similar like a Veterans Affairs?
Exactly, exactly.
Sure.
And will that person, sorry for asking, but so will that person be responsible then for executing these things, or will the board still?
So the board at this time, the board still will be the ones leading the execution. I do know, so just to kind of give you a little bit more information. So the older adult advocate position was created in the Community Engagement Division of the Department of Public Communication. And really, at this point, from what's been communicated from administration, is that this is a position and an individual who will help coordinate and improve the services of county for residents across all departments. Now, what that looks like, we are still uncertain, but I think Commissioner Lubsch said it the best. It's a step forward. So I do look forward to learning more about what role and responsibilities this advocate will be able to provide. But I definitely want to shout out both Commissioner McGilvery and you, Madam Chair, for bringing this to light during our Healthy Aging Ad Hoc Committee meetings, because I think we all know that we are an aging county, and we need to make sure that as we do move forward, that we are putting older adults at the forefront of the decisions that we're making in light of we are an aging county and we want people to remain in Oakland County and retire in Oakland County. So while it may not be, I think, Commissioner, you said it too, it's a good compromise to get going, but I definitely look forward to see where we could go and how we can expand upon this advocate position. Commissioner Gingell, you did bring up one other thing I wanted to touch upon, and that is that within this resolution, as you'll find that the Healthy Aging Ad Hoc Committee will be the point committee that will deal with the business of the different grant applications that are entailed within the resolution, and then obviously go to the full board for approval. So with that being said, I want to encourage all commissioners present in this meeting and not present in this meeting to be contributing members of when we really start to take a look at some of the criteria. This resolution does not go into the weeds within the different specifics. And in addition to the two distinctions of appropriating and assigning. So you'll see that on the first page at the bottom, $3.5 million is going to be appropriated. And then you're gonna also see that $3 million is going to be assigned. And the $3 million assignment is specifically for the 3-year pilot program. And the reason why we moved forward with having the 3-year pilot program funds be assigned is because there's some barriers that we still need to work out when it comes to some of the contracts and language in the contracts. And to be quite frankly with you, it's trying to find individuals who are able to provide these services. So looking at contracting and subcontracting, there's some areas that we still need to figure out. So the reason why the $3 million for the chore pilot program is not assigned, or I'm sorry, is not appropriated, is due to making sure that we can weed out and move through some of those barriers. So I highly encourage all of you over the next couple weeks to provide your input. I know that we're going to be having healthy aging ad hoc meetings leading into September. And I also know that our study groups are going to go hard with also providing input in regards to some of the eligibility and criteria laced within some of these grants.
Thank you. Commissioner McGilvery?
Yeah, I just wanted to say during the ad hoc committee meetings, I brought up the fact that the Veterans Department has a staff of 8 or 10 people. And there's far more senior citizens in Oakland County than there is veterans. And I think it's important, you know, the seniors want to live at home as long as they can. And with that being said, they don't have availability to services. They're technology challenged. I know one that is. And I think it's important that, you know, transportation to the doctor's office or whatever. I have someone at home that can't drive anymore, so I'm her chauffeur. But if I'm not in the picture, then how does she get to a doctor? How does she, you know, get the test done? And I think we need to work with all the senior centers throughout Oakland County and make sure that they are aware of what we're doing here. It shouldn't be just Oakland County taking this on. We need the help of all the individual communities and senior centers.
Commissioner Genzel?
Yeah, so not to get over my skis here, but that's kind of where I was thinking and going, right? Because we're in the middle of the budget process. We could request or instruct the administration to form a senior affairs entity, right? Maybe we don't fund it, but they could at least structure it, or we should fund it, to be honest with you. And it seems to me like the county executive would be interested in that process and soundbite. The other thing I would say is that back in the day, we did a silver tsunami study, and I think a lot of the results that are in this study are not inconsistent. So it says that, yes, it's material and it's real. So the other thing, and I'm jumping around here, the other thing that's on my mind is this whole transit issue that everybody's debating and we're barking about. But that's why it's so important to get money for, should it pass, NODA, WODA, those micro transit local community services that do what you're saying, Gary, like that's what I'm fighting for NODA and WODA and OPC and all that stuff. So that's a long ramble to say, like, if we really had like a senior affairs department and it was under the administration, which it should be, these things could all start bucketing there. Because otherwise we're gonna be managing them all in kind of a little mix match, just to be honest, right?
Is it realistic to make a motion now to instruct administration to form a seniors affair entity?
Can I make a suggestion on that?
Yes.
Again, it's not my business as the minority leader, but I would suggest that you have the chair of the board talk to the administration versus adopting a resolution today, because that makes things stickier, in my opinion. But you have the votes, you can do what you want to do.
Thank you. Commissioner McGilvery?
Yeah, I've had several conversations with Executive Coulter regarding this topic, and the best they could come up with was what they've
One
given us
position.
so far.
Even if we were prescriptive and say, hey, look, this is good, but we have a better idea,
Well,
I think this is what you should do.
I was one-on-one with him. I think if it's done collectively, then, you know.
Again, Madam Chair, if I may, I don't want to start a
You don't wanna make it-
barn burning show here, but I'll tell you that I had a county executive when I was chair that had been around for a long time. Didn't always like to do things that we thought were proper, but ultimately when we have to adopt the budget, which is something that's very important to a county executive by the end of September, you know, you might have the ability to.
Thank you. I
Talk
like
more.
it. Commissioner Jackson?
I just want to continue to ramble and just say.
Sorry. I know I started something.
And just really kind of go like where you started off with it, the structure. As Commissioner Nelson was kind of going over the structure and the ad hoc committee's role, but then the 5 initiatives that are being brought forth, are those being handled under study groups? Okay.
So are you, just for clarification, are you talking about the administration aspect of it?
Well, you said there were like five 6.5 million to support senior initiatives, including home repairs, senior citizen grants, educational communication, mini grants, and reinstating the Elder Abuse Coalition. So is that work being done within the study groups you mentioned?
Gotcha. That's a great question. So with the money that is being appropriated, we are going back to the table with our study groups and gaining their input. Again, very valuable members within there outside of just being commissioners. We have a lot of experts within the area of working with older adults. So our idea is to make sure that we're still continuously having this as a collaborative process. So we'll go back to the table with the study groups, get their input. It'll then go back to the Healthy Aging Ad Hoc Committee for final approval. That's why I'm encouraging everyone to provide your input, whether you attend a Healthy Aging Ad Hoc Committee or you reach out to one of the committee members to make sure that whatever input you would like to see reflected is there. But ultimately, it will be the Healthy Aging Ad Hoc that makes those final decisions before it goes to the full board.
Okay, based upon the findings of the study group.
Correct. And we have some pretty good, we have about a good 85-90% information of how to drive them forward. But we also know that things can change quickly. We want to make sure that still all voices and input is at least brought to the table. So that's why I'm really happy to say that the work that these study groups have put forward over the past 6 months has been truly amazing, and a gracious shout out to AAA1B for helping to facilitate those study groups meetings, because without them, none of this would have actually taken place. So again, it's definitely been a collaborative, long process, but here we are.
So we can participate, like you said, in communicating with the ad hoc committee. How do we review the work the study group is doing? The study groups are
So,
doing? Who do we contact?
There are
Different
point
folks?
commissioners on each of the study groups.
Okay.
I always recommend to commissioners, if you're not quite sure who to reach out to or really what you're really trying to find, Barbara Winters is always a great resource because she has been our point person that feeds with AAA1B. So first question is figuring out what study group is, what topic you're looking at getting more information on, corresponds to what study group. And then, like I said, if all else fails, reach out to Barbara. She's been our amazing point person within the 3 study groups.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, anything else? Prompt the vote, please.
We have 9 yeas, 0 nays.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank
Our
you.
last agenda item is public comment. So public comment is now open. Public comment is now closed. There is no other business to come before this committee, so we are adjourned at 11:33.
Wow.
I know. I
Madam
didn't get my
Chair,
dinner. Oh,
you
my
won the